Welcome to your Wellbeing Hour training. So we're going to split this into 5 sections as the Wellbeing Hour is split into sections. So you can take it section by section. And what I recommend you do is make notes on each section of what you're going to say. So everybody's Wellbeing Hours are going to look different. We're providing a framework and some really important information that you're probably going to want to include, and some hints and tips on how to get the best from your Wellbeing Hour. But ultimately, it's also going to be about your personal experiences with the products as well. So with that being said, the way this training is going to work is I'm going to give you, the first bit will be about what we're going to do in that section. And then I'm going to do the section as if me and you were on a Wellbeing Hour together. So it's kind of like a little role play, but you can't answer me back. But hopefully we'll get the gist, okay? So Wellbeing Hours can be conducted online or they can be conducted in person. Without a doubt, in person is going to have incredible benefits when people can touch and smell the products and experience them. However, the nice thing about online is you can reach everybody everywhere at any time. So both are beneficial to you. So let's get started. Part 1, the welcome. So the first thing I want to say is you're going to see me glance down as we go through, because I don't want to forget anything. And it's okay for you to do that within your Wellbeing Hours as well. Just let people know either in person or online that you'll have prompts so that you don't miss anything important. Felt like a newsreader then. So within this welcome, we're going to talk about Herbs on the Hill history and then a little bit about your personal story. We'll also let them know how the hour is going to run, what things you're going to include, and then we're going to give a well-being plan out and ask them to fill that in. So next is going to be my little example of what my welcome would look like. Hey everyone, welcome to your Wellbeing Hour. Oh wow, a whole hour just focusing on us. How rare is that? So I'm going to be taking you through the next hour and we've got some really good stuff coming up. So first of all, there's this little welcome section from me. I'll explain who I am, I'll explain about the company, and we'll also talk about your well-being. So hopefully you've got a well-being plan in front of you. So we're going to fill that out in a moment. After we've done that, we're going to move on to some visualization, and you'll notice that I have got notes because I don't want to miss anything for you that's important. After our I'll put my teeth back in, visualization, then we're going to talk about nature and us, and how nature is for us and we're for nature and how we can support all of that. And then we're going to talk about the essentials to well-being. And then that'll be it. I'll be closing off. We'll take any questions. So please just sit back, relax for the next hour. And I hope that you enjoy it. Now, just to go into a little bit about the history of who Herbs on the Hill are. So, an established business of 28 years that have always maintained that cottage industry. So, supporting small businesses, using smaller suppliers, of course, environmentally friendly, handmade, hand packaged, hand labelled, and natural. So I'm a wellness consultant with Herbs on the Hill. I also have a makeup and skincare business as well. And my love of all things natural, I've been thinking about this coming into this Wellbeing Hour, and I can't really trace it back to anything specific, like a specific moment. But what I can say is that without realising, my nan certainly had an impact. So she was one of these that had a beautiful garden, and she would cut her carnations fresh, and she taught me how to sew. And if I had a sore throat, it was always gargling salt water. When I was poorly, it was the honey used to come out. So without even knowing as a child, and I don't think she even knew what she was doing, she was influencing me in how I thought about the world around us, and that's always stayed. And I've just had this feeling, this knowing that nature is where it's at. So I'm gonna show you that today. Okay, so let's go on to your well-being plans. So you've got your well-being plans in front of you, and you'll see at the top we've got some areas for some well-being struggles. So this just might be things within your life that could be impacting your well-being. It could be physical or it could be emotional. So it could be a backache. I've got my cushion here. I feel that. It could be stress. It could be sleep. It could be hormonal. Yeah, I think you get the gist. So this is private. You are more than welcome to share in a moment if anybody wants to. However, no one's going to see this apart from you. So fill it out. And yeah, I'll give you sort of 5 minutes to do that, and then we'll come back and we'll see if anybody wants to share anything, and we'll talk about it if they do, and if not, we'll move on to our lovely visualization. I will get my teeth around that word. Part 2. We're going to move on now to the why can't I say it? Visualization. If there's anything that you gain from this video is that perfection doesn't matter, right? Hopefully. So this section with the visualization, you've got a couple of options. We have a beautiful visualization done from Julia, which you can play for people to listen to. We also have like a script that you could follow so that you can do your own visualization with your Wellbeing Hour people, or you can simply do some breathing. So you know, you can get them to think about what they've wrote down on their wellbeing plan, and this is where we're going to introduce our first product, and this will be the Mei Chang. So you will need to get some Mei Chang samples within the people that are going to be in this Wellbeing Hour's hands, or if you're doing it in person, obviously make sure that you've got it there, and then using that to do the visualization. Okay, thank you for starting to fill in these wellbeing plans. I hope that was useful. Now we're going to move on to a visualization. I was going to ask if anyone wanted to share, but actually I think we'll do it after the visualization. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab your Mei Chang, and we're going to pop a little bit on our finger, rub our fingers together, go to our pulse points, rub it onto there. You can also rub it directly on your pulse points if you like, which I like to do because I adore this smell. Okay, and then I'm going to play you a visualization now for you to join in. And as well as listening to the visualization and enjoying that, in the back of your mind, keep that well-being plan there and thinking about what it would mean to improve those things that you've wrote down, what positive impact that would have on your life. Okay, let me set up this visualization.
Welcome to Opening to Joy, a feel-good visualization using the Mei Chang roller bottle from Herbs on the Hill. Make sure that you have your roller bottle ready and easy to use in front of you. Also, please make sure that you're comfortable, undisturbed, and do not listen to this guided visualization whilst driving or being involved in any other focused required activity. So make sure now that you're absolutely comfortable, with your spine straight, feet on the ground, palms facing up to the sky. If you like, you can also lie down on your back, or you can sit cross-legged in meditation pose. Take a few moments now to arrive into the here and now, into this moment. Breathe into your body, and as you breathe out, relax. Let go of any tension in your mind, your body, and your spirit. Using your breath to soften through all parts of your body that feel tense or hold stress. Breathe into those parts and soften them with your breath. Let it all go. Imagine those stresses sinking into the earth, just like water. With every breath, you become more relaxed, going deeper and deeper into a beautiful state of relaxation and peace. And deeper and deeper. So calm, so relaxed, and so peaceful. Now that you're so deeply relaxed, you find it easy to imagine things clearly. And you open yourself up to the medicinal power of the plant kingdom, to Mei Chang. In this state of relaxation, in just a few moments, I would like you to open your eyes, but not right now, only when I ask you to do so. And I'd like you to open your eyes just enough so that you can get hold of your Mei Chang roller. And when you do, use the oil and put it on your wrists, rubbing them between your wrists, and then closing your eyes again, putting the roller bottle down. So with your next breath now, open your eyes, soft and gentle. Put Mei Chang on your wrist. Close your eyes again. Now bring your hands in front of your face and enjoy deep, loving breaths. Taking in this beautiful, uplifting oil. And when you feel you've taken in enough of the smell, then simply relax your hands again. You can always bring them back for a little top-up. The oil is now working through your olfactory sense and entering your bloodstream through your skin. Relax deeply. Let go. Mei Chang is inviting you right now and in this moment to open your senses to joy. With your next breath, feel, see, imagine, know your senses energized and uplifted. Imagine what it feels like to touch joyfully. Imagine what it smells like to smell joyfully. Imagine what it sounds like to hear joyfully. Imagine what it tastes like to taste joyfully. Imagine what your life, your world would look like if you'd see it through the eyes of joy. Take a few moments now to visualize your life through the eyes of joy. Can you feel the kindness, the compassion, and power when looking through the eyes of joy? Every time you need a little support, a little helper to uplift your spirit, to see your world in a joyful light, I suggest you use the Mei Jiang roller. It is here to support you always. Now bring your hands together in front of your heart. Gently affirming to yourself, I am peace. I am relaxed. I am joyful. Now rub your hands vigorously until your palms warm up. And cover your eyes with your hands, bathing your eyes in darkness. With your next breath, relax your hands. Open your eyes and come back with a beautiful smile.
Part 3. So this section is called Nature and Us. So this is where we're going to start to incorporate ideas that might help people see what we can do within their lifestyle. So the first thing you're going to want to do is acknowledge the visualization, maybe have a chat about it, and also make sure that they are happy to move on. So this is the section they will have filled in of their well-being plan. You might want to have a little discussion about that, depending on time, depending on who's there. But what I would definitely do is fill it in yourself as well, as you can see I've done. Because if no one wants to talk, it gives you a talking point about the areas that you need to work on. It also makes people realise about this whole perfection thing, that even though you're aware of these amazing well-being tips, that there's always things that we can do to help ourselves. So these are the things that we're going to discuss. So after this, there's going to be the example video of what part 3 would look like in my wellbeing hour. So talking about how we're all connected, talking about looking after our planet, and talking about looking after us. And how you do that and what you say about those things is entirely up to you. Some of you are going to be more passionate about certain aspects of that than others. And then, if you can, a personal story about something that you do that is all about nature and us. So I'm going to be using how I make my own fabric conditioner. Yours might be how you're conscious now of plastic use, or you only buy XXX, like whatever. If it can link to Herbs on the Hill, even better. So luckily the fabric conditioner that I make requires essential oil to go in there, and so it's going to be the first time I'm going to be able to drop in something about one of our products. If not, that doesn't matter. But like, for example, if you're talking about you're very conscious of plastic use, that's a really great chance for you to then just say, like, it's one of the reasons why I love herbs, you know, this is recyclable, this is glass, you know, things like that. What else was I gonna say? Oh, and again, this could be a talking point. So dependent on the people, and if you think that they would join in, then you might want to see if they've found anything that they've switched about, or maybe something about nature and us that they want to share. We're then going to do a little bit of history of medicine. So I've wrote down some information which you're more than welcome to use. Of course, you can go off and find your own bits and bobs. What I've picked, though, again, I would definitely try and use some of it, because it gives us a great way for our next section, which is moving into how our essentials bundle products fit in with well-being. So hope that all made sense. Let's do an example part 3. Okay, how was that visualization? I hope that you loved it as much as I do. It's nice just to spend that little bit of time, isn't it? And I hope that that gave you some thoughts around your struggles. If anyone wants to share their struggles, let me know. What I'll do is I'll share something that I struggle with, which is headaches. So I don't know if anyone else struggles with that, if that's wrote on your list of emotional, physical symptoms. And I find with headaches as well, actually then it brings fatigue, I get tired. It then brings a bad mood, I get grumpy. So yeah, it's not even just the headache, it's the whole effect of it. What I'm going to do now, though, is move on and talk about our relationship with nature. And this is leading us nicely into the things that we can do to help with these emotional and physical symptoms that you've wrote down, and the way that they can be supported. So in the words of the Lion King, the circle of life, we're of course all connected. Nature and us and nature. And really I see it in two ways: what we can do for nature and what nature can do for us. Now, in regards to what we can do for nature, we know about the current situation with the planet and the climate and the impact that we're having. And I found it a little bit I don't know if anyone else felt the same, but I found it really overwhelming when all the stuff started coming around about the changes that we could make, and I just didn't know where to start. And so, hands up, I buried my head in the sand. And then I saw something somewhere, possibly Instagram, and it was saying that you don't have to get rid of every plastic item in your house, you know, go organic, go vegan, you know, you don't need to do it all in one go and turn into, you know, into this person up here. Like, view it like a ladder, you know, and every step that you take is having a positive impact. Oh, that was like a weight was lifted and I could suddenly see what to do. So over time, I've been making changes within our household, within what I use to help nature and our environment. So, for example, one of the things that I do within the last year is I make my own washing liquid and my own fabric conditioner, because I suddenly saw and I had no idea. So because it's a laundry product, the water goes into our waterways, and fabric conditioner is not biodegradable. So that's building up within our ecosystem out there, and it is got toxic chemicals in it for all of our organisms that are within those waterways. So it's not great for that reason. Also, I didn't realise that it's obvious when you say it, but of course it's all synthetic. So the chemicals in it, you know, there is research about how it affects asthma and respiratory things and skin conditions. And so, yeah, it just made me want to change. So I researched it, and I found that actually making your own fabric conditioner is super simple. 3 ingredients. If you want the ingredients and the amounts afterwards, then just drop me a message and I'll do that for you. So what I tend to do is, to make sure it smells nice, because that's the nice thing about fabric conditioner, isn't it, is put in one of our oils. I often choose tea tree. I've used lavender, I've used sweet orange, which I love. The reason I come back to tea tree all the time is because it is antibacterial, brilliant for beddings, towels, 6-year-olds, and sensitive skin, you know, 6-year-old. So yeah, this is one of my favorites to pop in there for sure. So I don't know if any of you have done any swaps or anything like that. So the next thing really is, that's us doing stuff for nature, isn't it? So what can we do? What can nature do for us? So early human DNA shows that in early man, the first humans, when they've done the DNA, they can see that they were using poplar, as in the tree, and penicillium mold to treat dental abscesses, which of course we know penicillium mold is penicillin, and poplar is actually aspirin. And I can't remember anything from school about chemistry, no idea. But what I do know is sort of common sense. And when you really think about it, doesn't it make sense that, as we're all part of nature, that what we need to help us will be within nature? And not only that, but the body recognizes it. And knows what to do with it. It knows what to do with poplar. It didn't say on the research what part of poplar that it was that they extracted, but you know, it makes sense that the body would recognize what to do with that. And the same with the mold, right? So in September 2019, the FDA published a report that was showing that over 50% of all medicines in the world are derived from the plant world. So these are things that they found in the plant world, and they then go on to make them synthetically. And the reason being is, sadly, is money. So they can't control the plant world. So, you know, if you know how to use poplar as aspirin, then they've no way of charging for that, potentially, if you've got access to poplar. And so that's how the big pharmaceuticals have come around, and it means that they restrict a lot of what we can say about. So I can say to you, oh, if you've got a headache, take paracetamol. That definitely helps with a headache. But I'm not allowed to say about the natural alternatives that I know. So this is why we've got our wellbeing wheel. This is why we like to do wellbeing hours. So we're going to talk about that within our next section. I think what's super interesting, just before we move on, is that we actually are a supplier to the NHS. 2 of our products are in 2 trusts, so they use them in their intensive care unit and for dermatology, and actually they are moving more and more towards the plant world again, because, as you know, antibiotics, for example, are not becoming effective for us, but there is plenty of stuff out in the plant world to support our well-being. part 4. So now we're going to be getting into the essentials of well-being, which is going to be how we weave in the essential kit and everything that's in there. So before we do that though, I just want to reflect on part 3. So I forgot to say in the section about part 3 about when I ask the role play questions, because there's no one to answer. I didn't want to pretend there was an answer, so I just went silent. But obviously in real life that would go smoother. And if no one were to answer, if no, you know, I would just then say, okay, no problem, let's move on. You know, just do that. Okay, the other thing I wanted to point out from part 3 was everything is done for a reason, really. So the fabric conditioner story is true story. I make my own fabric conditioner, but I very purposefully said about messaging me if they want the recipe. Now I could just say I'll send it to you all, but the purpose of doing that is to open up those lines of communication. Now I can still send it to them all, because if no one messages me for it, it gives me a reason to message everybody that was at the Wellbeing Hour and just say, oh, I just dug this out in case you were interested, and you can send it over. So there's always a purpose. And the reason that I integrated the tea tree oil is because what I'm trying to do is we're actually only going to talk about 6 products completely to them, the people that are on the Wellbeing Hour. The rest of the, how many are there? 17. So the rest of the 11 are weaved throughout. So we've done Mei Chang and we've done tea tree. So if you can do an example like that, and you're more than welcome to use my example as well. So you're more than welcome to get on board with the fabric conditioner making and use that as an example. Okay, so part 4, we're going to do the history of oils and their effects. We're going to talk about where to apply, and I'm going to do another moment where I'm going to try and get engagement with them and get them to ask for something, so that we're, you know, having a conversation after the Wellbeing Hour. A little bit about science. Then we're going to talk about 6 core products, and at this point it'd be really good if you've got your own experiences to weave into this. Then we're going to go on to the Wellbeing Wheel, and so they're going to finish off their sheet. She says she's lost it. I've got so many bits of paper in front of me. So this is where they're going. No, that's the wrong one. They're going to spend some time looking at their Wellbeing Wheel and what products might support these things over here. And this is a good time for you to pop in a little personal story again. So the one that I'm going to be using is that all of a sudden Hunter, being 6, decided that he wasn't going to sleep, and so I needed to check out on this Wellbeing Wheel, what do I need? Rest, sleep, right, dream time, and popped dream time on the bottom of his feet and his pulse points. And so that's another weave in of the 17 products. So if you've got a story around dream time, it would be perfect, because it's not mentioned anywhere else. If you've got some nice relaxing music, pop that on while they fill it in. And I think that is it. And then, sorry, no, that is not it. It's because it feels almost like 2 sections. And then the next part and the final part is this section of the Wellbeing Plan. So we're going to talk about these areas. This is going to weave in the last products we haven't yet mentioned, and then they can fill in this, and then we're on to the final section, which is how might we get some orders, how might we get some sign-ups. Okay, let's do role play of part 4. So we already touched on this earlier. Now we're going to talk about the essentials to well-being, and talk about essential oils. So they have been used for thousands of years, from biblical medicine right through to Chinese medicine, and we talked about that DNA in the early humans as well. The reason being is that essential oils contain hundreds of compounds that trigger emotional, mental and physical responses within the body. They're very potent and very powerful. To give you an example of the power of the plants, it takes 400 pounds of roses to make 1 pound of rose oil. Which is why rose oil is so expensive. What I will say is the essential oil market isn't regulated, and so it always pays to do your research. Basically, if it smells like something, people can label it as something. So yeah, do your due diligence, and you're safe here. 28 years of happy customers, and of course backed by the NHS. So yeah, I think that speaks for a lot of the quality of what we use. Now let's talk about where to apply them. So first of all, there's acupressure points. So I've got some information about acupressure points, so if you want me to send that to you, then just let me know. Let's go back to our Mei Chang. So I just want to show you interesting pressure points, and pop it on my fingers again. Smell it because I love it. Okay, so you've got just below your collarbones, you've got a point here called the K27s. So now some people like to press really hard, some just like to do it softly. I kind of like to do a bit of both. This here acupressure point really helps with calming the nervous system down. So let's just so if you were like stuck in traffic and you were getting sort of agitated, then you can just do this. This is why these little roll-ons are great, because they can just stay in your bag. So yeah, this is proven to calm down the nervous system. So that's your K27 point. There are other acupressure points. There's one for headaches, but like I say, I'll send you the information of that if you want it. Now, the other place to apply oils, you know, earlier I said you could put it on your pulse points, right? So your pulse points are where people take pulses, and where you can take a pulse is where blood is closer to the surface of the skin. That's why you can feel a pulse, and so when you apply an oil to that area, it's absorbed most quickly because it goes straight into the bloodstream. So that's a really good place to apply them. So applying it like that obviously has an effect physically, like we've just talked about. You then got the olfactory, I think that's how you say it, bulb. So this is to do with smell. Now that is connected to your limbic system, and your limbic system is connected to your nervous system. So when we use any kind of oils, essential oils, it's not just that they have a nice smell, dependent on the oil. So, you know, we've just done Mei Chang, so this raises you up. This is like energy, this is uplifting. So sometimes you'll want oils that do that. Sometimes you'll want something to calm you down. And what we're trying to always do is find that balance, aren't we? And some will balance you out and keep you balanced. And then, of course, there's the memory of smell. So perhaps your nan's house, or, you know, if your husband puts on a certain aftershave, or your partner puts on certain perfume, or, you know, there's various smells that we associate with memories. Cut grass is one for me. For some reason, it just takes me back to summer holidays. And if you were to recall a memory like that, it has an effect physically. You tend to smile. So if it's positive memory, you tend to smile. And actually, if you could measure your heart rate, you would see that it calms down your nervous system because it's a positive memory. So it's so clever how the essential oil family work. And what I love as well is that they're also like adaptive, so depending on what you need from it. So some can be used for balance, but they can also calm, and also when you put them with other oils, then it brings out the different properties. It's a little bit like your personality. When you're with one set of friends, and if you've got another set of friends, you might appear slightly different. And if you're dancing at a club, who does that? Or if you're reading a book, like, you're the same person, but you're bringing a different side to yourself. And that's what the oils do, depending on what they're mixed with and what they're needed for. So now what I want to do is I want to move on and introduce you to 6 core products that I think are really essential to help our well-being. First 2 products I want to share with you are really about sort of hormonal support. So we have Time of My Life and The Big Chill. I think even those names make you think, oh yeah, I need that in my life. So with Time of My Life, talking about how oils blend together, this has got 9 oils in it, because this creates a magic blend we're talking about menstrual cycles, menopause, perimenopause, and all the things that come with that. And this is the little supporting roll-on for that one. And then alongside that, you've got our Big Chill roll-on. So this is to help bring balance, to help with tension, and when we get all hot, it's all of that. So those are 2 products that I think are really important to have. And then in the herbal world, there's a saying, if in doubt, get Frank out. So frankincense, it's one of those ones where it really, if you're just not sure, I've cut myself, which product should I use to help heal? I'm sad, which product should I use? Frankincense is just one of those absolute go-tos. So it is in a beautiful face cream, but you can use it how and when you want. What I will say about it is that it has been, it's lovely, scientifically proven. So this isn't, we can say this because the studies are out there, to help with depression. Lovely. But also it's antiviral, anti-inflammatory. It's a wonderful product. And then I want to show you our Rose Eye Gel. So the very best beauty industry kept secret is vegetable glycerine. So this has got a vegetable glycerine base, and then it's got beautiful rose in it. So we're talking wrinkles, we're talking tightening, we're talking fine lines, puffiness. I mean, when you put this on, you just can feel it. So it says eye gel, but let's face it, there's lots of areas that might need this support. So that's just, it smells beautiful. If only you could smell through this camera. Okay, and then we have our CGL cream. So this is chamomile and geranium and lavender. This is one of the products that the NHS use. I have a big tub, so that we sell all different sizes, but yeah, you can see how much this is used in our household because it's just so soothing. So eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, sunburn, insect bites, you name it. and then it's calming as well. So it's, yeah, lovely. And then finally, I just want to talk about our hand sanitizer. So this is government certified as antiviral and antibacterial, but wait till you try it. It's not drying or anything like that. It's soothing. And so it's amazing for sore and sensitive skin, let alone the fact that it's brilliant for all those bugs as well. And here's the beauty of it. One spray is enough. So it's going to last you for ages. When I do it for my little boy, I just get him to hold his hands out and then spray over him, just one spray, and that's just, yeah, absolutely enough. And again, it smells beautiful. It's clear that I could talk all day about the products, which is why I just picked 6. And I think we've really established how beneficial our natural world is. But sometimes we don't necessarily know what to use when maybe we're struggling with something, or maybe when something crops up in day-to-day life. So this is why the Wellbeing Wheel was created. So for example, most recently my 6-year-old decided that he doesn't like sleep anymore, and so I could go to here and think, okay, sleep, oh, dream time. So I got the little Dreamtime roll-on out, rolling it on the bottom of his feet, so that I can sort that out for him. So what I want to do is put on a little bit of nice relaxing music and let you look through this Wellbeing Wheel and look at your emotional and physical symptoms that you wrote down and see what might help in those situations. Okay, I hope that you managed to find some options to pop down on there. If there's something on your list of symptoms that you're not sure about, then feel free to ask me, but also in a moment there's going to be time at the end and I can certainly support you with that. I'm very conscious of time. I don't want to take up all of your precious time, so I want to move on to this final sheet, and I just want to give you some information about some other things that are really going to help with your well-being. If anything resonates with you as I go through this, feel free to jot it down. I'm going to be talking about this circle here, and from your list of things and from all of this, you can sort yourself out a much more detailed plan if you want to as well. Okay, so we're going to start here. What's that, 3 o'clock? With hydration. So we dehydrate every 20 minutes. So in theory, we should be drinking something every 20 minutes, which that just blows my mind. Just as little as 2% dehydration affects memory, mood, concentration. And the only thing I knew about dehydration before running these wellbeing hours was that it can cause headaches. But get this, so it regulates temperature, it keeps joints lubricated, I'm going to come back to that in a moment, prevents infections, it delivers nutrients throughout the body, and it helps with weight loss. Now, that one I also knew, but I thought that was because you are full in your tummy and you don't want food. No, it's proven that when you increase your hydration, it actually burns fat. Now, going back to keeping joints lubricated, it was like a light bulb moment for me. So semi-recently, I went on a walk with my son and my husband, and oh my God, I super struggled that day. Hunter's learning to ride his bikes, went to this nice big park, and I had to sit on a bench for a long time. My hips, my everything just felt achy, but not in a fluey way. It felt like achy joints. And the day before I was fine. I hadn't really done anything. The day after, when I woke up, I was fine. I did not understand it. Now, I can't remember if I was dehydrated or not, but I reckon that's what it was. Luckily, I had my Phoenix roll-on with me. So this product is brilliant for joints and things like that. So that helped me get through that. But yeah, I reckon it was dehydration, you know. So one of the things that I've done is I bought myself a water bottle that I love, that fills me with joy, and this always stays with me, and it gets filled up about 3 times a day. And yeah, I just make a real conscious effort now I know how incredible staying hydrated is. Okay, moving around that wheel then, our next one is nature. Now, we've talked a lot about us and nature, but this is about being in nature, and there are now prescriptions being given out by doctors to people to spend time in nature, because they are proving time and time again that we are nurtured and healed by nature. So it is proven to help with attention, lowering stress, increasing good mood. So emotionally, anxiety, like it, you know, it improves all of that emotional stuff without a doubt. They're also showing that it helps with blood pressure, heart rate, things like that. And I find this really interesting. So if you have green views for a child, so they've tested it with and without, their cognitive development and their ability for self-regulation in regards to behaviour is much, much improved if they're surrounded by green. So I think we're only just touching the surface of knowing exactly the impact that being in nature and just seeing nature. Another thing they've done is measured productivity when you've got a plant in an office space. So it's very, very fascinating. So for me, I know it's trees. For you guys, I mean, I actually live by the seaside, and I do love the sea, and I do love water, but there's something about trees for me. I absolutely love them. So what natural habitats do you guys enjoy? Now, the thing about loving trees is, I don't know if any of you suffer with hay fever, because I do. And so yeah, we have a couple of things that help with hay fever. So this is our little pot of magic cooling gel. So this is the product that went viral, was called Headache Balm. So that's what it helps with, all around the head, all the cognitive functions. Also, it's because it's got peppermint in, it's super soothing and helps with sinuses, helps with all of the hay fever symptoms. So that's ideal to put on. And then you can get roll-on versions. So this is great for the handbag in case the hay fever starts playing up. But yeah, that's oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you about, there's a movie called The Earthing, which you can find on YouTube. If you can't find it, let me know and I'll send you the link. And it's fascinating about how 20 minutes just barefoot, what impact that has on your body. Now, talking about impacts on body, the next thing in our circle is exercise. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean a 5k run. For those of you that do 5k runs, well done. That's certainly not me. So mine is more about stretching. We've talked about being in nature, so that's about walking. I like to do a little bit of sort of weight work and build up strength. I like swimming. So yeah, it just depends. I've got an active 6-year-old, so I run around after him. So yeah, dependent on your lifestyle and your personal preferences, depends on what you do exercise wise. Now, 2 products that can support you is, I just showed you my roll on when I had my achy joints. We have it in a cream version. So that's absolutely perfect to support with exercise. And then our bath and massage oil. Now, I currently don't have a bath because it needs to be fixed. And so I thought I couldn't use this. And then I was talking to the owner of the business, and she explained to me, and I didn't know this, so I want to pass it on, that if you're going to pop it in the bath, don't pop it in the bath. What you want to do is massage it on the areas that you need. So if you've got like sore shoulders or achy elbows or whatever, my achy hips, massage it into that area, then get into the bath, and the heat from the bath will obviously help activate that. And then you don't need to use anything in regards to cleaning the areas where you've put it, because oil acts like a natural sort of cleanser. So that means you can also use it in the shower. So that's what I do now whilst we're waiting for our bath to be fixed, is I just pop it on all those little bits at the end of the day. Or if I wake up in the morning a little bit stiff and I'm having a shower in the morning, then before I get in the shower, I pop, and I just use a little bit of shower gel under my armpits now, and then the rest is oil. And the nice thing is my skin comes out feeling so smooth by using it. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because I had no idea. I just thought you poured it in. Okay, breath work. So this is something that I discovered through personally struggling with PTSD, and so it was recommended part of my treatment for PTSD. So I know how incredible this is, but it also helps with stress, your nervous system. It gives you more oxygen in your body by doing breath work, so it helps with healing and circulation. It gets rid of more toxins. Yeah, and remember our olfactory bulb, I swear I'm not saying that right, so you can ramp it up by using something like our Calm Balm, for example, and you know, you can use that whilst you do some breath work, put it on your pulse points and things that we talked about. So in regards to how to do breath work, there are lots of materials online. You can find loads of different techniques. I tried a couple of different techniques, but something that I keep in my little sort of mental toolkit is the very simple breathing in on 3 through your nose, holding for a second, and then you can breathe in 4 or 2, but what you do is when you breathe out, you double it. And so I like to do 3. I find that's perfect. So it's like a so I couldn't count then because I was breathing, but it's a breathe in 1, 2, 3, hold, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do that a few times. A few times a day. Actually stimulates as well the pineal gland. So they think it can help with improving sleep as well. So if you struggle with sleep, then combining it with things like we've talked about, Dreamtime Calm Balm, and doing some breath work, then you might find that that really helps. So yeah, I'm a big fan of breath work. Meditation. Now for me, sitting for any period of time seems impossible, not only with busy life and the 6-year-old and everything, but just trying to quieten the mind down. However, meditation doesn't necessarily have to just be sitting there like this, as beautiful as that is. If you think about it, when you walk, how often do you get lost in thought when you're walking or driving, doing colouring, writing, drawing, housework? But you can get really lost, can't you, in your own thoughts? So they're all quite meditative without you necessarily realising. And 2 simple ways that you can again ramp up those situations. So we have the Calm Mist, which you can use, just spray over you before you perhaps do the colouring in, or perhaps before you do some walking or whatever. And then of course the essential oils, so you can always have them in a diffuser. Sweet orange is great, so that'd be good for housework, energizing, but also in the car. So I love this little tip. you can get cotton wool balls and just put a couple of drops of oil on and just put them in places in your car, and that will give that scent off in your car. Just don't use anything sleepy like lavender. And you can also use something like this. So this is a bookmark with a hole punch in the top. So you can get quotes, can't you? So anything that absorbs. Now, because even though it's called oil, it doesn't mean oil actually, because there's no carrier oils within this. And so you can put drops on here and then pop a bit of ribbon on and hang this in your car like your own handmade air freshener, and then you just refresh it with a few drops every time you feel like you can't smell it anymore. Peppermint's lovely as well for the car. Or spray. So just get a little spray bottle, water, a couple of drops, and then before you go on a drive, especially a long drive, you can spray, and that's just gonna transform your travel. Okay, so that is that circle done. I am going to pop the music back on just for a little bit, give you some time to digest everything that I've said. Ask me any questions either privately or, you know, in this group environment. It's entirely up to you. And then I should just close off our wonderful wellbeing hour. Part 5, we're at the closing section. It's really important to do this section because if you just kind of let it fizzle out, then potentially you might not get the most from people's experiences that they've just had in your wellbeing hour. So thank everybody for coming. You know, see if it was helpful for them, or say you hope it was helpful. And then what I would do is talk about the fact that you've covered, depending on how much you stick to how I've formulated it, but I covered all 17 products in the essentials bundle. You might cover 10, 11, and you can kind of say that you've covered, you know, so I'm going to say that I've covered 17 and then talk about pricing. Well, you'll see in the role play. But yeah, it's really important to not beat around the bush. And then what I would recommend is that if you're in person, you hand out something where they tick, and we'll get things created for that, where they tick what options they want to do, or they can write down what they want to order based on their well-being wheel and what they've wrote. And if you're in online, then say to them, you know, once I've finished here, then I'm gonna message you individually and talk about what's on your well-being wheel and what might be the most beneficial option for you to go for, and then give them the next date of when you're doing a well-being hour so that they've got something for their diaries. Now, with that being said, that is why Kate and I are also keen, and Julia, to create other types of versions of this, so that, you know, because once you've been to a few, then they're going to kind of sound the same. So back in the day, doing Ann Summers parties, if you were with the same crowd of people, then you would play different games at the party, and you know, our kit changed every 6 months, so that gave us new things to show. So we will have different ways of doing this as well, develop over time, so you can kind of pick which one to do next if you know it's going to have a lot of the similar people there. The other thing I want to say, actually, while I've just raised the subject of Ann Summers, is that so back when I joined, I was 21. You get a kit of stuff, you get a little bit of training on how to kind of like back office stuff, really, rather than like how to do ordering and things like that. You would go on a party and shadow someone, so this is kind of in effect doing that, and then that would be it. And so without doubt, My very first parties were probably a little bit naff, and probably everybody's were, but it didn't matter. And this is the thing, is that the only way to become confident with this material and to become confident holding wellbeing hours is to do them. The more that you do them, the more confident you will be. The first time you do them, you might be looking at your notes loads, you might stutter over things, you might forget things. That's fine. Honestly, it makes no difference. This isn't about perfection. This is about, you building out what that wellbeing hour is going to look like for you. And the only way you can do that is through experience. So my recommendation to you is, once you've done this training, is try and book in 5 as quickly as possible, because that will just give you so much experience. It's like anything, right? If you've learned to drive, if you've ever cooked a meal that you've never cooked before, baked a cake, and the difference between day 1 and the difference between doing it on day 10. And so it flew into my head then. And the last thing you want to do, is also let them know how best to connect with you. So if you have a group that you put people in, this is your chance to invite them to that group. If you have a broadcast list on WhatsApp, you can give them that offer. So that's the perfect way to kind of close off the session. So I will finish up now with that final role play, and I want to thank you for your time watching this, and I hope that this was helpful for you and that you can see a way forward. I know you'll be nervous. We all are. I'm nervous doing this. Believe it or not, I've not held one. This is me doing it the very first time with you guys. But I promise, the more you do it, the smoother you'll get at it. And they are just such a great way to showcase our products and to really give value and help people. Okay, role play 5 coming up. Mwah. Okay guys, I'm going to close it off there. These sheets are yours to take away, so if you haven't quite finished them, then don't worry. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the lovely chats that we've had. It's been super interesting, and also I really hope that this wellbeing hour has given you some time for you right now, but also you've got some things that you think that you can do moving forward that are going to help. So with that being said, obviously I've showcased quite a lot of products. Can you believe we've showcased 17 products throughout the whole of this hour that are really key in your natural first aid life toolkit, that are used around the home and used for yourself, and used on my little one. And so I'm gonna you ready for it? Brace yourself. So if you wanted to get all 17 things that I've talked about, the actual retail price of those are £190 in total. However, you're not going to pay £190, okay? So there is a special, well, there's 2 special deals. You can grab a deal and get them for £150, or the best deal for you today is to sign up to our affiliate network system, and you grab that essentials bundle that I've just spoken about with all those products in, and that then is just £88.88, and it gives you up to a 20% lifetime discount when you want other things. So yeah, that's such an incredible deal, isn't it? So that's if you want to go whole hog and think, yes, I want all of this for my well-being. What I'm going to do now though is, after I stop talking, I'm going to come to you all individually in your inbox and see where you're at, see if that's an option for you. And if it's not, and you just think, actually, you mentioned Phoenix, and I know that's going to be the thing that I need for all my aches, but also actually, I think this and that, we can talk about where to start. Because what you'll notice on that wellbeing wheel is a lot of products could be used for quite a few different things, so I can help you with that. So I should be messaging you directly after this. My next wellbeing date is on blah 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 of blah blah blah, so please pop that in your diary. I hope to see you there. And when I come into your inbox in a moment, I'm going to send you a link, which is a group that I've got on Facebook where everybody is welcome to come, and the well-being tips and things continue over there. And then also I'm going to ask you if you'd like to be part of my broadcast list. So I have a space on WhatsApp. It's not a group, it's where I add you to a list, and then when there's special offers and special deals, you're the first to know, and it's a place where you get an even more exclusive kind of price. So I'll ask if that's somewhere you want to be. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you again for your time. It's been so lovely to be here with you, and I'll be in your inboxes in a moment. Mwah.